asking, Lord, help me find the way.
We always had records at our house, and I actually remember my very first one, which was in the 50s, and it was red. It was a red one, and it was a 78 RPM, and it was Little White Duck Sitting in the Water. And it probably is very historic now, but I don't have it. But my parents always had records, your grandparents, and Grandpa particularly loved music. And he had a lot of classical records, and he also had folk records.
I stole all my dad's records before my brother got a chance to, so I guess that's sort of where I had to start. But yeah, I raided my dad's collection when I was like in high school, and I still have records of his that, I just took it from under his nose, and he has no idea. So that's a nice, carrying the tradition forward, revolting against Dad. Those are all the great elements of rock.
One time I was helping my brother move out of his apartment in the Mission, and he collects vinyl too, but he used to collect it with his girlfriend, and he's moving out because they broke up. They're like dating for a few years. So, like, going through their vinyl was kind of like intense, like, that's our record, but I don't know. So it was like constantly deciding whose record was whose. I was just watching him like be bummed out when we're going through records, and he's like, alright, Duran, I guess she can have that one. Alright, I guess she can have this Beatles record. Like, just watching him his record collection get smaller as he had to give ones that were theirs to her.
I'm not musical enough to know this. We have a friend who's a professional musician who said that there's nothing like the records. The digital does not recreate the sound as well.
Well, it sounds nicer, that's for sure. I mean, I think everyone probably agrees about that. It sounds fuller, it sounds richer, the sound isn't compressed onto a digital format. So.
Another, not quite as early one, is this Barbra Streisand album. It's not her first, but I'd heard about her. I heard she was a wonderful singer, and I saw this cover, and then and there decided that anyone who had a cover like that, I knew I would love her music, and so I bought People as my first of probably 30 Barbra Streisand albums. So, and that really tells you something about the importance of the art on the album, that they're very individual, and this just captivated me and the mood of the whole album. I really miss the album art, and in fact, even now I still tend to buy the CD and download it because I think both the visual and the information can add to the album.
There's something nice about having something that showcases artwork, because a lot of times musicians place a lot of emphasis or, put a lot of consideration into how they're going to present their product. And some people do really cool things, and when you just see it shrunken down on a screen or on a phone, it's not really the same effect.
I just hate when something really beautiful in and of its own gets lost, and I think that's part of why the albums are coming back, that people realize that the physical album, the whole experience of it is different.
People are paying more and more attention to what it looks like, because if you look on your phone and you see something really small, you wonder, well, what does that look like blown up 12 inches or something? And maybe that's enticing to people.
I think if you're passionate about music and vinyl, then why not do it? I mean, it's an expensive hobby though, because vinyls aren't cheap because they cost a lot to make. I think it's a fun thing to do because it's like going shopping for clothes or something. You just in the record store, kind of zoning out, flipping through things. Oh, I like this artist, maybe I'll buy it. I don't know. So it's definitely a fun hobby to have, but it is expensive.
Somehow having a record collection, it was something that we all had, and it was very much represented your interests and your personality. The one thing that is interesting now is people don't share music as much, and that everybody's listening in their own earphones. I mean, gone are the days when you yelled at someone to turn down the music because everybody's listening to it privately, which I've told you I don't really know your music because I don't hear it. So that's another aspect of this. Of course we have speakers now and so on, but there was no other choice. Everybody heard what you were playing.
I like putting the record up on display. I like the fact that you can't really move it around. It seems like a special event to turn it on, and then if you need to move into a different room, you have to turn it louder. It's not the same as putting headphones in. I like that.
I just think it's amazing. I mean, I've seen it go from albums, and then it went to the 8-track, I think it was called cassette. That didn't last long. And then cassettes, and I have a lot on cassette, not as good quality music. And then the CDs, and then the straight download. I think options are fantastic.
Well, early in the morning, about the break of day, I asked the Lord, help me find a way, help me find a way, to the promised land. This lonely body needs a helping hand.